My wife said she felt nothing for me the same night I caught her staring at her best friend like he was the one who'd been whispering promises into her heart all these years. Not me. I don't know what else to tell you, Mark, she said, arms crossed, voice thin as paper. I just don't feel the same anymore. The living room felt colder than the December wind slipping through the cracked window. My throat tightened, but I forced my voice to stay steady. When did you stop trying? Asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she stared at the hardwood floor as if the truth were hidden between the grain lines, too small for me to ever see. We'd been distant for months, but hearing her say it out loud, was something I wasn't ready for. Still, part of me wondered if she was telling the whole story. A gut-deep unease had been gnawing at me lately, an instinct I'd tried to ignore. And then her phone buzzed. She flinched. I saw the name, Evan, her best friend since college. The guy she swore was like a brother. I didn't say anything. Not yet. But my stomach twisted. The night everything unraveled happened just a week later, during a small get-together at a friend's house. I had tried, God, I had tried, to pretend things were normal, hoping maybe she'd come back to me if I could just keep us steady long enough. But then I saw her. Across the room, my wife stood close to Evan, too close. The music was loud, people laughing and talking around them, but I could still see the way she leaned in as if he were some refuge she desperately needed. And then he bent his head toward her ear. He whispered something. She smiled, soft, intimate, the kind of smile I hadn't seen from her in months. A heartbreakingly familiar smile, once meant only for me. The sound in the room seemed to dull, like I was slipping underwater. I didn't move toward them. Couldn't. Instead, I watched, frozen, as she placed her hand on his arm. He didn't pull away. She never looked at me. When she finally did glance around the room, her eyes met mine for a fraction of a second. Her smile faded. Her hand dropped from his arm. Then she looked away, as if the guilt itself was too heavy to face. My chest burned. We drove home in silence. She stared out the window. I gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. When we walked through the door, I finally said, "How long?" Tensed. "Mark, how long have you been talking to him about us? Or is it more than talking?" Her shoulders heaved with a shaky breath. "Nothing happened. But something is happening," I said. "I saw you." She pressed her hands to her face, voice cracking. "I didn't mean for any of this. I was lonely. You've been distant, distracted. I was working 2 jobs to keep us afloat," I said quietly. "You know that." She let out a broken laugh. "And while you were busy saving us, I was busy losing myself." I swallowed hard. "And you found yourself in him." Her silence was my answer. I felt something inside me tear. Not loud, not sudden, but slow, like a seam being pulled apart one stubborn thread at a time. That night I slept on the couch. I stared at the ceiling until sunrise, waiting for anger to come. But all I felt was grief. Deep, hollow grief. When she walked in at dawn, her face pale and eyes swollen, she whispered, "I'm sorry, Mark. I truly am." "Are you in love with him?" asked. She hesitated. That hesitation destroyed whatever pieces were left. "I'll pack a bag," I said, standing. "Please don't leave like this." "How else should I leave?" I whispered. She didn't have an answer. As I walked out the door, suitcase in hand, the weight of it all settled on me. Not just the betrayal, but the truth underneath it. Somewhere along the way we had stopped turning toward each other. But she turned toward him. And that was a kind of ending I couldn't unsee. I closed the door behind me, the click echoing like a final heartbeat.